For centuries, the Great Pyramid of Giza has captivated the imagination of historians, archaeologists, and curious minds across the globe. It stands as an iconic testament to the ancient Egyptian civilization, an enduring symbol of human ingenuity, and a marvel of architectural achievement. But what if everything we have been told about the pyramid, how it was built, why it was built, and who built it was wrong? What if the story we have been handed for millennia is not the whole truth? What if the pyramid's real story is far stranger, far older, and far more complex than we could have ever imagined? Imagine this: a civilization lost to time, one that predates even the rise of ancient Egypt as we know it, possibly even predating recorded history itself. A civilization with technologies so advanced, so far ahead of their time, that their creations still leave modern engineers scratching their heads. Could the Great Pyramid have been built by this ancient, lost civilization, not by the Egyptians at all? Could it be that we have been misled for thousands of years, stuck in a historical narrative carefully constructed by those in power to preserve their legacies? This is not a conspiracy theory, but a question that demands our attention. The official story we have been told is simple enough. The Great Pyramid was built around 2550 BC by Pharaoh Kufu, also known as Cheops, as a tomb to house his body for the afterlife. According to this narrative, thousands of workers toiled for 2 decades, using primitive copper chisels, ropes, and ramps to move massive stones into place. The monument was completed in an astonishingly short time, a feat of sheer human will and effort. At least, that is what we are told, but when we take a closer look, the picture becomes far less clear. In fact, it starts to unravel entirely. What if the pyramid's true origins are far older, its builders far more advanced than the primitive Egyptian society we are familiar with? What if the Egyptians were not the builders at all, but merely custodians of an ancient wonder that was constructed long before their time? For years, Egyptologists have dismissed these alternative theories as fantasies, as fringe ideas with no real merit. But the more we learn about the Great Pyramid, the more we realize that the official story is riddled with gaps and inconsistencies. Let us start with the most fundamental question: who really built the pyramid? For generations, we have been taught that Pharaoh Kufu, the great ruler of Egypt, ordered the construction of this monumental tomb. But strangely, there is no evidence linking Kufu directly to the pyramid. No inscriptions, no royal records, no monumental artifacts buried within its walls bearing his name. In a civilization where the pharaohs were immortalized in stone, this omission is nothing short of perplexing. How could such an important structure, dedicated to such a powerful ruler, be left devoid of any mention of his name? Shouldn't we expect to see Khufu's name inscribed in grand letters across the pyramid's interior or on the walls of the surrounding tombs? Egyptian tombs were typically filled with treasures, jewels, gold, offerings to the gods, and, most importantly, the mummified remains of the ruler. Yet when we explore the Great Pyramid, there are no precious artifacts, no traces of Khufu's remains, and no royal inscriptions. In fact, the only inscriptions we do find inside the pyramid, faint markings, were not even made during Khufu's reign. They appear to have been added centuries after the pyramid's completion, raising serious doubts about their authenticity. Could the Great Pyramid be something else entirely, a structure with a purpose far beyond what we have been led to believe? The evidence is striking. Ancient Egyptians were meticulous record keepers. They documented everything from daily life, religious rituals, from royal decrees to military campaigns. Yet when it comes to the construction of the Great Pyramid, the historical record is strangely silent. Could this absence be a clue? Could it be that the true story of the pyramid is being deliberately concealed from the public? Perhaps it is not just an omission by chance. Maybe the answers lie in the hands of those who have controlled the narrative for so long. The very people who have shaped our understanding of Egypt's past. And at the heart of this mystery is one man, Dr. Zahi Hawas. Zahi Hawas, the face of Egyptian archaeology for decades, has become synonymous with the history of Egypt. As the former Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, Hawas had the power to decide what could be excavated, what could be studied, and what could be published. He is known for his outspoken defense of Egypt's cultural heritage, but there is a darker side to his legacy. Hawas has long been accused of blocking independent research, suppressing alternative theories, and silencing those who challenge the mainstream narrative. Why has Hawas fought so fiercely to shut down new research, especially when it threatens the established story of Egypt's past? Is he simply trying to protect Egypt's heritage? Or is there something deeper at play? What could he be so determined to hide? The more we look at his actions, the more we begin to question whether the true history of the pyramids is being deliberately buried. And if that is the case, why? In the next part of our journey, we will delve deeper into the mysteries of the Great Pyramid, its precise construction, the evidence of advanced technology, and the unsolved questions that continue to baffle researchers. Could the pyramid have been built by a civilization far older than the ancient Egyptians? Could they have had access to technologies that we have yet to rediscover? Stay with us, because what we are about to uncover may change everything we think we know about human history. To understand the mystery of the Great Pyramid, we must first examine the story we have been taught for generations. The conventional narrative paints a simple picture. Around 2550 BC, Pharaoh Kufu, also known as Cheops, ordered the construction of the Great Pyramid as his tomb. This colossal structure, built with the labor of thousands of workers, was supposedly completed in just 20 years. Using nothing but primitive tools, copper chisels, ropes, and wooden rollers. The pyramid, once finished, would house the pharaoh's body and ensure his journey to the afterlife. At least, that is the official story. But as we peel back the layers of history, we begin to see cracks in this neat and tidy narrative. Let us start with the most glaring inconsistency: the absence of clear evidence linking Pharaoh Kufu directly to the Great Pyramid. You would think that for such an important royal project, there would be abundant inscriptions, records, and artifacts clearly attributing the pyramid's construction to Khufu. Yet there is almost nothing. Let us think about this for a moment. The ancient Egyptians were meticulous record keepers. They documented everything from royal decrees to religious ceremonies, from daily life to grand military conquests. Their tombs and monuments were adorned with inscriptions that told the stories of their kings, their gods, and their greatest accomplishments. But when we look at the Great Pyramid, we find none of this. No grand inscriptions naming Khufu as the builder. No carvings or monumental texts proclaiming his name, the way we see with other pharaohs. It is as if Khufu's connection to the pyramid simply did not exist in the historical record. Let us contrast this with other royal tombs from the same period. Take, for example, the tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun. Inside, archaeologists discovered a wealth of treasures, inscriptions, and artifacts, all providing clear evidence of the king's identity and his reign. In stark contrast, the Great Pyramid of Giza, which is supposed to be the grandest and most important of all, contains almost nothing that directly links Khufu to it. This raises an important question. If Khufu truly commissioned the pyramid, why did not he leave behind the same kind of documentation that other pharaohs did? Perhaps even more perplexing is the pyramid's function, or rather, the lack of evidence to support its supposed function as Khufu's tomb. Most royal tombs from ancient Egypt are rich with treasures, offerings, and relics meant to accompany the pharaoh into the afterlife. But inside the Great Pyramid, there is an eerie absence of these items. No statues, no jewelry, no golden relics, nothing that you would expect to find in a tomb of such monumental proportions. And most importantly, no trace of Khufu's remains. The king's chamber, often thought to be Khufu's final resting place, contains a massive granite sarcophagus. But here's the strange part. The sarcophagus is empty. No mummified remains, no burial goods, just an empty stone box. If the pyramid was truly built as Khufu's tomb, why would there be no trace of his body? The lack of burial artifacts and the absence of Khufu's remains in such an important structure is an anomaly that challenges the very foundation of the mainstream historical narrative. Another striking mystery lies in the design of the pyramid itself. The complexity and precision with which it was built are astonishing. Take, for instance, the alignment of the Great Pyramid with true north. Even with modern technology, it would be incredibly difficult to achieve such a level of accuracy. The pyramid is aligned to true north with an error of only 0.067 degrees, something that still baffles architects and engineers to this day. How did the ancient Egyptians, supposedly equipped with nothing more than copper chisels and simple tools, manage to achieve this precision? Could there have been advanced knowledge or techniques involved in the pyramid's construction, knowledge that was either lost over time or deliberately hidden? Even more puzzling is the way the pyramid's massive stone blocks were cut and transported. Some of these blocks weigh up to 80 tons and were quarried more than 500 miles away from Giza. Yet there is no clear explanation for how the ancient Egyptians managed to transport these gigantic stones across such vast distances, especially considering that the wheel was not yet in use in ancient Egypt. Modern engineers struggle with the logistics of moving stones of this size, even with our advanced technology, but the Egyptians supposedly accomplished this feat without any of the tools or machinery we take for granted today. Could it be that the Egyptians did not build the Great Pyramid at all? What if they were simply inheritors of an already existing monument, one built by a far older civilization, one whose knowledge and techniques had been passed down or rediscovered by the Egyptians? Could the pyramid be far older than we have been told, built by a civilization that had access to technologies lost to history? These questions are not mere conjecture. Increasingly, there is evidence that suggests the Great Pyramid might be much older than we have been led to believe. Some researchers have pointed to the erosion patterns found on the Sphinx, which indicate that it may have been weathered by heavy rainfall, something that would not have occurred in the desert climate of Egypt for thousands of years. Could the Sphinx, and by extension, the Great Pyramid, be the remnants of a much older civilization, perhaps one that existed during the end of the last ice age, over 12,000 years ago? This theory, proposed by researchers like Robert Schoch, has been met with resistance from mainstream Egyptology. But the evidence is compelling. The Sphinx's erosion patterns do not match the typical wear and tear caused by wind or sand. Instead, they resemble the kind of weathering you would expect from prolonged exposure to rainfall. The last time the Sahara experienced such heavy rainfall was at the end of the Ice Age, over 12,000 years ago. This suggests that the Sphinx, and perhaps the Great Pyramid, could have been built by a civilization far older than the ancient Egyptians. Could it be that the ancient Egyptians did not build the pyramid but merely inherited it? Could they have rediscovered the pyramids and used them for their own purposes, adding their own layer of history to an already ancient monument? The idea of a lost civilization with advanced knowledge is one that many researchers are beginning to entertain. If this theory is true, then everything we thought we knew about the ancient world, the timeline, the technology, and the civilizations that built these wonders, could be completely wrong. The mystery of the Great Pyramid is far deeper than we ever imagined. It is a question that has haunted historians, archaeologists, and scientists for centuries. Who really built the pyramid, and why? If we are to explore the true history of the Great Pyramid, we must confront one man who has been at the center of Egyptology for decades, Dr. Zahi Hawas. As the former Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities and the face of Egyptian archaeology, Dr. Hawas has become a figure synonymous with the official narrative of Egypt's past. For years, he has been the gatekeeper of Egypt's ancient secrets, controlling what can and cannot be explored or revealed to the public. Hawas is an outspoken advocate for protecting Egypt's cultural heritage, and while his efforts to preserve the country's monuments are commendable, his role in shaping the public's understanding of Egyptian history has sparked controversy. For decades, he has resisted alternative theories and dismissed independent researchers who challenge the established historical narrative. Why? What is at stake in preserving a singular version of Egypt's past? One of the most striking aspects of Dr. Hawas's career is his firm control over the exploration of Egypt's ancient monuments. If you want to research in Egypt, if you want to dig, excavate, or even study a new theory, you need permission from him. He holds the keys to Egypt's past literally. While many celebrate his dedication to Egypt's heritage, others accuse him of stifling new ideas and blocking groundbreaking discoveries that could reshape our understanding of the ancient world. But it is not just about control. Dr. Hawas has been accused of actively shutting down research that threatens the official version of history. Independent archaeologists, geologists, and researchers like Robert Schoch and John Anthony West have faced intense opposition from Dr. Hawas when they attempted to present new evidence or alternative theories. For instance, Schoch's groundbreaking research on the erosion patterns of the Sphinx, which suggested the monument was much older than Egyptologists believe, was dismissed by Hawas as a fringe theory. In a country where free inquiry and exploration should be the driving forces of progress, why is Dr. Hawas so quick to silence new ideas? Robert Schoch's theory about the Sphinx, suggesting that its erosion was caused by water rather than wind or sand,
has the potential to rewrite the history of Egypt.
Shouk's research has shown that the Sphinx is much older than traditionally thought, possibly dating back to the end of the last ice age, over 12,000 years ago. If Shouk's theory holds true, it could challenge everything we know about ancient civilizations.
But when Shouk attempted to present this theory to the public, Dr. Hawass immediately dismissed it, calling it a far-fetched idea and refusing to allow further research on the subject. Why? What is so threatening about this theory that Dr. Hawass, a respected figure in archaeology, would go to such lengths to suppress it? Even more troubling are the countless times independent researchers have been shut down at the very moment they were on the cusp of groundbreaking discoveries. In 1992, German engineer Rudolf Gantenbrink discovered a mysterious limestone door in the Queen's Chamber shaft of the Great Pyramid. The door had two small copper handles, an incredibly rare feature in ancient Egyptian monuments. This discovery was poised to shed new light on the pyramid's secrets, but as Gantenbrink's team prepared to investigate further, Egyptian authorities, under Dr. Hawass's guidance, halted their research without explanation. Why would they stop a team from exploring a potentially monumental discovery?
Gantenbrink's door became a symbol of the resistance faced by researchers who dared to challenge the official story. The door was sealed for over a decade, and when another team, sponsored by National Geographic, attempted to drill through it in 2002, they encountered yet another sealed limestone slab. What is behind these sealed chambers? Why does Dr. Hawass insist that they remain closed to further exploration? Could the answers inside threaten the carefully constructed narrative of Egypt's history? Fast forward to 2017, a team of international scientists used cutting-edge technology, muon radiography, a type of cosmic ray scanning, to peer inside the Great Pyramid without disturbing its structure. Their findings were nothing short of astonishing. They discovered a massive hidden chamber, one large enough to rival all the known rooms in the pyramid. This was a discovery of monumental importance, one that could reveal secrets about the pyramid's true purpose and construction. Yet once again, Dr. Hawass and his team blocked further investigation, citing vague concerns about safety and preservation. Why is Dr. Hawass so protective of Egypt's ancient monuments? Is it because he truly believes he is safeguarding Egypt's heritage? Or is there something else at play? Could it be that he is trying to protect a historical narrative that, if challenged, would shake the very foundations of Egyptology? By controlling what can and cannot be explored, Dr. Hawass has become the gatekeeper of Egypt's past, deciding which truths the world is allowed to see. Supporters of Dr. Hawass argue that he is merely protecting Egypt's cultural heritage. They say that his actions are motivated by a desire to preserve Egypt's monuments for future generations, ensuring that they are not subjected to speculative or irresponsible theories. But when we look deeper, we see that his control over Egypt's archaeological sites may be more about protecting his own professional reputation and the established narrative of Egypt's history. For decades, Dr. Hawass has been the most powerful figure in Egyptian archaeology. His influence has shaped the way the world views ancient Egypt, and his decisions have determined which theories and discoveries are allowed to enter the public domain. While he is undeniably passionate about Egypt's history, his actions have created an environment where dissenting voices are silenced and critical thinking is stifled. Why does he insist on blocking independent research, especially when it threatens the accepted narrative? Is it simply a matter of protecting Egypt's heritage, or is there something more personal at stake? Dr. Hawass's legacy is complicated. On one hand, he has undoubtedly raised Egypt's profile globally, bringing attention to its monuments and pushing for their preservation. But on the other hand, his strict control over archaeological research and his resistance to alternative theories have prevented vital discoveries from being fully explored. His actions have contributed to a culture of secrecy and dogma in the field of Egyptology, where challenging the mainstream narrative is seen as taboo rather than encouraged. But there is hope. Around the world, independent researchers and theorists are pushing back against the conventional wisdom. They are uncovering new evidence, challenging established ideas, and questioning the official narrative. These brave individuals are not afraid to ask the hard questions, to challenge the status quo, and to dig deeper into the mysteries of Egypt's past. And perhaps, one day, the secrets of the Great Pyramid will be revealed not by those who have guarded them for centuries, but by those who are unafraid to seek the truth no matter the cost. Zahi Hawas may have held the keys to Egypt's past for decades,
but the truth is still waiting to be uncovered. As long as the gates of Egyptology remain closed to independent exploration, the answers we seek may remain buried beneath the sands of time. But the search for truth is never over, and there are those determined to find it no matter the obstacles. The Great Pyramid of Giza has been the subject of fascination for centuries. For centuries, Egyptologists, engineers, and architects have marveled at its construction. From the sheer size of the stones used to the incredible precision with which they were cut and placed, the pyramid stands as a testament to the ancient world's capabilities. But as we dig deeper into the pyramid's design, we begin to uncover something truly extraordinary, evidence of advanced knowledge and techniques that challenge our understanding of what was possible in ancient times. Let us start with one of the most puzzling aspects of the pyramid: its alignment with true north. Modern engineers and architects continue to be baffled by this achievement. The Great Pyramid is aligned to true north, with an error of only 0.067 degrees. To put that in perspective, this is more accurate than most modern buildings, and it is something that even the most sophisticated tools of today struggle to replicate.
How did the ancient Egyptians achieve such an extraordinary level of precision,
especially given that they supposedly had no access to the advanced technology we use today? For comparison, think about the most advanced tools at our disposal today. Modern laser equipment and satellite technology can be used to measure angles with incredible precision. Yet, even with these tools, achieving the level of accuracy seen in the Great Pyramid would be difficult, especially with a structure that was built over 4,500 years ago. How could a civilization with copper tools, basic ropes, and wooden sledges have managed to align the pyramid with such precision? One possible explanation is that the Egyptians possessed a sophisticated understanding of the Earth's geometry. Ancient Egyptians were keen astronomers. They closely observed the stars and planets,
charting their movements across the sky. Some theories suggest that the Egyptians used the stars, perhaps the star Al-Nitak, part of the Orion constellation, to align the pyramid structure with true north.
But if this theory is correct, it would mean that the Egyptians were able to calculate the Earth's true axis with remarkable precision, a feat that many scientists believe would have been impossible for a civilization without modern tools. Another mind-boggling aspect of the pyramid's construction is the size and weight of the stones used in its build. Some blocks weigh as much as 80 tons, and they were quarried over 500 miles away from the pyramid site.
This poses a significant question. How did the ancient Egyptians transport these massive stones across such great distances, especially without the wheel? To this day,
engineers struggle to come up with a satisfactory explanation for how the ancient Egyptians could have moved these stones without modern equipment. The traditional explanation suggests that workers used sledges, ropes, and ramps to move the stones into place. But when engineers have tried to replicate these methods, they have encountered significant problems.
Ropes would wear out quickly, sledges would get stuck, and the ramps would need to be incredibly long and steep to move such heavy blocks.
It is a logistical nightmare, even with the best modern equipment.
So how did the Egyptians manage to move these stones with nothing more than simple tools? Some researchers believe that the ancient Egyptians may have had access to lost technologies, tools, methods, or materials that have since been forgotten to history.
In 2009, a team of scientists tried to replicate the construction of the pyramid, using only the methods believed to have been available to the Egyptians. They struggled to make much progress, especially when it came to moving the massive stone blocks. But what if the Egyptians had a form of advanced machinery that we have simply lost the knowledge of over time? Could it be that the ancient Egyptians had access to a form of technology, perhaps powered by water, sound, or some form of energy that allowed them to move these massive stones with ease?
What if the ancient Egyptians had discovered methods of levitation,
or some other form of energy manipulation that we are only beginning to understand today? The idea may sound far-fetched, but when we consider the precision of the pyramid's construction and the advanced techniques used in its creation, it becomes a possibility worth exploring. But the mysteries do not end with the pyramid's exterior. Inside the Great Pyramid, there are even more questions that challenge our understanding of ancient construction techniques. The internal chambers, particularly the King's Chamber, are built with massive granite blocks that weigh up to 80 tons each. Granite is one of the hardest materials known to man, yet these blocks were cut with remarkable precision that is still difficult to replicate today. In order to cut granite with such precision, modern tools like diamond saws and laser cutters are required. Yet, the ancient Egyptians supposedly cut these stones with copper chisels, an implausible task when you consider the hardness of granite. So how did they achieve this level of precision? Were they using advanced tools that have since been lost to history? Or did they possess knowledge that allowed them to manipulate stone in ways that we cannot even begin to comprehend?
The precision of the cuts inside the Great Pyramid goes beyond mere craftsmanship. The blocks fit together so perfectly
that not even a piece of paper can slide between them.
This kind of tight fit is nearly impossible to achieve with primitive tools, yet the ancient Egyptians managed it. How? And more importantly, why does modern archaeology refuse to acknowledge the
possibility that the Egyptians may have had access to more advanced techniques than we give them credit for? One of the leading experts in this field is Christopher Dunn, an engineer who has studied the stonework inside the Great Pyramid in great detail. Dunn has argued that the precision of the stonework inside the pyramid is evidence of advanced machining techniques that would have been impossible to achieve with copper tools. According to Dunn, the evidence suggests that the ancient Egyptians used some form of high-speed rotary tools to cut the granite blocks, tools that have long since been lost to history. Dunn's theory is that the ancient Egyptians were not just skilled masons, but they were working with technologies that allowed them to perform feats that we would consider impossible today. What if the ancient Egyptians inherited or perhaps rediscovered technology from a much older civilization? Could these advanced tools have been used to shape the stone blocks with the kind of precision we see in the Great Pyramid? When we look at the construction of other ancient monuments like Stonehenge in England or the megalithic temples of Malta, we see similar levels of precision and advanced stonework. Could it be that these monuments were all built by the same lost civilization? A civilization that possessed knowledge and technology far ahead of its time? And if this is true, what happened to that civilization? How did their knowledge get lost to the sands of time? The mysteries of the Great Pyramid's construction are not just about ancient Egypt. They are about the entire human story. They ask us to reconsider our understanding of what was possible in the ancient world. What if the ancient Egyptians were not the first to build the pyramids? What if they were merely caretakers of a monument built by a far older and more advanced civilization? The more we study the pyramid's construction, the more we realize that we might be missing a key piece of the puzzle, one that could completely rewrite our understanding of history. The precision with which the Great Pyramid was built, the advanced techniques used in its construction, and the mysteries that still surround its purpose all suggest that the pyramid may not be the work of the ancient Egyptians at all. Instead, it may be the legacy of a lost civilization, one whose knowledge and technology were far more advanced than we can even imagine. But the answers to these questions remain hidden, buried beneath the sands of time. As we have already seen, the Great Pyramid is an incredible monument, one that continues to defy the conventional understanding of ancient Egyptian architecture and engineering. But what lies beneath the surface of this ancient wonder? What secrets does the Great Pyramid hold in its shadowy depths, hidden from the public eye for thousands of years? The interior of the Great Pyramid has always been a source of fascination. For centuries, Egyptologists have explored its chambers and passageways. But recent discoveries suggest that what we know about the pyramid's internal structure is only the tip of the iceberg. Beneath the surface, there are hidden chambers, sealed doors, and unexplored spaces that may hold answers to the pyramid's true purpose and origins. And yet, despite the tantalizing hints, there is more to discover. These spaces remain shrouded in mystery, sealed off from the outside world. Let us take a closer look at the pyramid's interior. Traditionally, we are told that the pyramid contains just a few key chambers: the King's Chamber, the Queen's Chamber, and the Grand Gallery. These chambers are impressive, to be sure, but they are not the only features inside the pyramid. In fact, there are several hidden spaces within the pyramid that could hold far more significant discoveries, spaces that, for one reason or another, remain unexplored. Take, for example, the narrow shafts that lead from the Queen's Chamber. These shafts, long believed to be purely symbolic, were initially thought to serve no real purpose. However, in 1992, German engineer Rudolf Gantenbrink discovered something astonishing while investigating these shafts. He found a mysterious limestone door inside one of the shafts, an unusual discovery that immediately captivated the world's attention. The door had two small copper handles, an artifact unlike anything else found in the pyramid. This discovery was groundbreaking. It was clear that the door was protecting something, perhaps something of great importance. But just as Gantenbrink's team prepared to explore what lay behind the
door, Egyptian authorities halted the investigation, and the door remained sealed. Why? What was so critical about this discovery that the investigation had to be stopped?
And more importantly, what is behind that mysterious door? Could it hold the key to understanding the pyramid's true purpose? In the years that followed, the door continued to capture the imagination of researchers and historians. In 2002, another team, sponsored by National Geographic, attempted to drill a small hole in the limestone door to see what lay beyond. They discovered yet another sealed limestone slab. This second door has never been opened, and to this day, researchers have been denied permission to investigate further. Why are the authorities so reluctant to allow further exploration? What could they be trying to protect?
The mystery surrounding Gantenbrink's door is just one example of the many unexplored mysteries hidden inside the pyramid.
Over the years, the Great Pyramid has yielded numerous clues suggesting
the existence of even more hidden spaces, chambers, and passageways that remain sealed off. Why have not these areas been explored? Are they truly just remnants of a bygone era, or do they hold evidence of something far more extraordinary? In 2017, an international team of scientists used a technology called muon radiography to scan the interior of the Great Pyramid without disturbing its structure. This non-invasive technique, which relies on cosmic rays to reveal hidden voids, led to one of the most astounding discoveries in modern archaeology: a massive, previously unknown chamber located just above the Grand Gallery. This chamber is enormous, large enough to rival the size of the known rooms in the pyramid. Yet, despite its vast size and the groundbreaking nature of the discovery, the chamber remains unexplored, with the Egyptian authorities once again denying permission for further investigation. After such a monumental discovery, has the chamber been left unexplored? Is there something in that chamber that Egyptian authorities are afraid to uncover? The mystery deepens when you consider that this void was hidden for thousands of years, undetected by traditional archaeological methods. What secrets could it hold about the pyramid's true purpose? Could it be another clue that challenges our understanding of who built the pyramid
And why? The use of advanced scanning technologies like muon radiography has allowed scientists to peer deeper into the pyramid than ever before, revealing hidden voids that could hold the answers to some of archaeology's greatest questions. But despite the promising results, Egyptian authorities continue to block any attempts to explore these hidden spaces. Why? Could it be that the Egyptian government is protecting something far more
significant than just the preservation of historical artifacts? What are they hiding, and why is it so important to keep it secret? The reluctance to explore these hidden chambers raises an important question. Are we being told the whole truth about the Great Pyramid? For years, we have been taught that the pyramid was built as a tomb for Pharaoh Kufu, but the absence of Khufu's remains, the lack of burial artifacts, and the unexplained design features of the pyramid suggest that there is more to the story. The discoveries of hidden chambers, sealed doors, and unexplored voids only add to the growing evidence that the pyramid's true purpose is something far more complex than we have been led to believe. The Great Pyramid is not just an ancient monument, it is a puzzle one that continues to challenge our understanding of the past. Despite centuries of research and exploration, there are still so many questions left unanswered. The hidden chambers, the unexplained features, and the mystery of the pyramid's true purpose remain shrouded in secrecy. And with each new discovery, the pyramid becomes even more enigmatic. Could the answers lie behind the sealed doors and hidden chambers that have been kept from us for so long? Perhaps one day, when the gates of history are opened, we will finally uncover the truth about the Great Pyramid and the civilization that built it. Until then, the Great Pyramid remains a symbol of both ancient achievement and modern mystery. The secrets it holds may be far more profound than we could ever imagine. And one day, when the time is right, those secrets will be revealed. But for now, the pyramid's hidden chambers remain locked, waiting to be explored. And the question remains, what lies behind those sealed doors? The Great Pyramid of Giza is a monument that has baffled historians, archaeologists, and engineers for centuries. It raises questions not just about the ancient Egyptians,
but about the very foundations of our understanding of human history, while mainstream Egyptology insists that the pyramid was built as a tomb for Pharaoh Kufu. Alternative theories continue to challenge this narrative. Could the Great Pyramid have been constructed for another purpose entirely, or could it be the legacy of an ancient civilization far older and more advanced than we have ever imagined?
Over the years, many researchers have put forward theories that suggest the pyramid
Might not have been built for a king at all.
Some argue that it was constructed as a gigantic astronomical observatory,
a colossal temple to the stars, or even a power generator designed to harness energy in a way we do not yet fully understand. But perhaps the most intriguing of these alternative theories is the idea that the pyramid may have been built by an entirely different civilization, a civilization far older than the ancient
Egyptians. One of the most compelling alternative theories comes from researcher Robert Bauval. Bauval's Orion correlation theory suggests that the three main pyramids at Giza are aligned with stars of Orion's belt,
but not as they appeared during Pharaoh Khufu's reign. Instead, Bauval argues that the pyramids align with Orion's belt as it appeared around 10,500 BC, thousands of years earlier than traditionally accepted. This discovery is significant because, in ancient Egyptian mythology, the constellation of Orion was associated with Osiris, the god of the afterlife. The alignment of the pyramids with Orion could suggest that they were built to honor the gods and symbolize the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth concepts that were central to Egyptian religious beliefs.
If Bauval's theory is correct, it would mean that the pyramids were constructed thousands of years before the reign of Pharaoh Khufu. This challenges everything we know about the timeline of ancient Egypt and raises the possibility that the Egyptians were not the original builders of the pyramids.
Could it be that the ancient Egyptians inherited the knowledge of the pyramid's construction from a much older civilization, one that possessed advanced astronomical and architectural knowledge? And if so, who were these mysterious builders, and where did they go?
The idea of a lost civilization with advanced knowledge
is not unique to Egypt. Throughout history, ancient cultures from across the globe have passed down stories of forgotten cities, lost technologies, and ancient wisdom. The Sumerians, for example, speak of a race of beings called the Anunnaki,
who supposedly brought knowledge of agriculture, architecture, and writing to humanity. In the Americas, the ancient Maya and Aztec civilizations were known for their advanced understanding of astronomy, and in Asia, the lost city of Atlantis has been the subject of fascination for millennia. Could these cultures all share a connection to a much older,
forgotten civilization? A civilization that once spanned the globe and left behind monumental structures like the Great Pyramid. Another compelling alternative theory involves the age of the Sphinx itself. Researchers like Robert Schoch and John Anthony West have suggested that the erosion patterns found at the base of the Sphinx were caused by water, not wind or sand. According to this theory, the Sphinx was built during a time when the Sahara was not a desert, but a lush, green landscape with heavy rainfall around 10,000 to 12,000 years ago, at the end of the last ice age. If true, this would push the construction of the Sphinx and potentially the Great Pyramid back thousands of years before the traditional timeline of ancient Egypt. This theory has sparked a heated debate within the scientific community. Mainstream Egyptologists argue that the weathering patterns on the Sphinx can be explained by the desert winds and the natural erosion caused by sand.
However, Schoch's analysis suggests otherwise, pointing to clear evidence of water erosion.
If the Sphinx was indeed built thousands of years before the Egyptians, it could imply that the pyramid and other monuments on the Giza Plateau were created by a far older civilization, one that had access to knowledge and techniques that were lost to time. Graham Hancock, another researcher who has explored the idea of a lost civilization, suggests that the knowledge possessed by these ancient peoples might have been passed down through the ages, influencing the early Egyptians and other ancient cultures around the world.
According to Hancock, there may have been a global civilization that existed during the last ice age, one that was capable of constructing monumental structures like the Great Pyramid. However, this civilization was destroyed by a global catastrophe, perhaps a comet impact or a massive flooding event that wiped out much of the advanced knowledge that these ancient people had developed. Hancock's theory suggests that the survivors of this cataclysm would have been forced to rebuild from scratch, passing down fragments of their lost knowledge to later civilizations. The Egyptians, the Maya,
and the Sumerians, among others, may have inherited this knowledge and used it to construct the monuments and temples that we still marvel at today. If this theory holds true, the Great Pyramid could be the last remaining piece of evidence from a once great civilization, one that we have forgotten, but whose legacy lives on in the structures they left behind.
Around the world, we find other megalithic sites that share striking similarities with the Great Pyramid. Sites like Stonehenge in England, Teotihuacan in Mexico,
and Machu Picchu in Peru all feature advanced engineering and astronomical alignments that suggest a shared knowledge of the cosmos. Could these structures have been built by the same civilization that constructed the Great Pyramid? Could they represent a network of ancient knowledge that was once passed down to humanity, only to be lost to the sands of time? As we continue to uncover new evidence at these ancient sites, it becomes clear that the story of human history is far more complex than we have been led to believe. The Great Pyramid is not just an isolated wonder. It is part of a larger global network of ancient monuments that suggest the existence of a civilization with knowledge and technology far beyond what we traditionally associate with the ancient world. But if this civilization existed, what happened to it? And why did its knowledge get lost? Were they wiped out by a catastrophic event? Or did their knowledge simply fade away as the ages passed? As we continue to explore these alternative theories and unanswered questions, we are left with a sense of awe and wonder. The Great Pyramid of Giza stands as a testament to an ancient past that we are only beginning to understand. It challenges our assumptions about history, forcing us to ask new questions and seek out answers that have long been buried beneath the sands of Egypt. Could the pyramid have been built by an older civilization, one with knowledge far beyond what we thought possible? Or is it a symbol of something even greater, something that transcends the limitations of time and space? The mysteries of the Great Pyramid are not just about ancient Egypt, they are about the story of humanity itself. They invite us to explore new possibilities, to challenge the conventional wisdom, and to seek out the lost knowledge that may still lie hidden beneath the surface of the earth. The answers may be buried, but they are out there, waiting to be discovered. And perhaps, in time, we will uncover the truth about who built the Great Pyramid, why it was built, and what it truly represents.
The mystery of the Great Pyramid continues to captivate the minds
of scholars and laymen alike. The more we explore its construction and purpose, the more we begin to question what we know about ancient civilizations. What if the ancient Egyptians were not the original creators of the Great Pyramid? What if the pyramid was built by a long-lost civilization, one that possessed advanced technologies and knowledge that have been lost to time? The idea of a lost civilization is not new. Throughout history, there have been countless tales of advanced peoples whose knowledge and technologies were far beyond their time. From the fabled Atlantis to the mysterious builders of the megalithic structures around the world, there are numerous accounts of civilizations that vanished, leaving behind monumental evidence of their achievements. Could the Great Pyramid be one such relic, a testament to a forgotten people whose wisdom and skill we can barely comprehend? All around the world, we find evidence of extraordinary construction and engineering that challenges our understanding of ancient technologies. The massive stones at Stonehenge, the intricate architecture of Teotihuacan, and the precision of the Great Wall of China are just a few examples of advanced engineering from the ancient world. But what if these monuments were not built by the civilizations we have always believed? What if they were created by a far older and more advanced civilization, one that shared knowledge and techniques across the globe? One of the leading proponents of this theory is author and researcher Graham Hancock. In his books, Hancock has explored the idea that a global civilization once existed during the last ice age, one that possessed knowledge of astronomy, architecture, and engineering that far surpassed anything we thought possible for its time. According to Hancock, this civilization was destroyed by a cataclysmic event, perhaps a comet impact or global flooding, wiping out most of their achievements and leaving only the faintest traces of their existence. The Great Pyramid, along with other megalithic sites around the world, could be the last remnants of this lost civilization. Hancock's theory suggests that the survivors of this global catastrophe were forced to rebuild, passing down fragments of their lost knowledge to the early civilizations that we are familiar with today. The Egyptians, the Sumerians, the Maya, and others may have inherited the wisdom of this ancient civilization, using it to build the monuments and temples we still admire today. But if this is true, why did they fail to pass on the full extent of their knowledge? Why is so much of this ancient wisdom lost to us? The mystery of the Sphinx, particularly the erosion patterns at its base, provides a clue to this lost civilization theory. As we discussed earlier, researchers like Robert Schoch have suggested that the Sphinx could be far older than traditional Egyptology suggests. The water erosion patterns found at the base of the Sphinx point to a time when the Sahara was not a desert, but a lush, fertile landscape with heavy rainfall. This would place the Sphinx's construction, or at least its original carving, back at the end of the last ice age, over 12,000 years ago. Could the Sphinx and the Great Pyramid be relics of a civilization that existed long before the ancient Egyptians? There are other clues that suggest the existence of lost knowledge and advanced technology in the ancient world. The ancient texts and inscriptions from Sumer, for example, speak of gods who came down from the heavens and taught humanity how to build cities, write, and understand the stars. These gods are often described as possessing extraordinary knowledge and abilities. Knowledge that was passed down to the early civilizations. Could these gods have been part of the same ancient civilization that built the Great Pyramid? The precision with which the Great Pyramid was constructed and the advanced techniques used in its creation are further evidence that the builders of the pyramid had access to technology that was far beyond what we have traditionally attributed to the ancient Egyptians. As we have seen, the accuracy with which the pyramid is aligned with true north is nothing short of extraordinary, and the cutting of the massive granite blocks used in the pyramid's construction, something that would be impossible with simple copper tools, suggests that the builders had access to advanced machinery or tools that have since been lost to time. Modern engineers have tried to replicate the methods used to cut the stones of the Great Pyramid, but they have had little success. Even with the best modern equipment, they struggle to replicate the precision with which the ancient builders cut and shaped the stone blocks. Some researchers suggest that the ancient builders may have used some form of high-speed, rotary tools or even advanced laser technology tools. They could have been powered by energy sources we are only beginning to understand. What if the ancient Egyptians were not simply using copper tools and primitive methods? What if they had access to advanced technologies, powered by renewable energy sources or even lost forms of electricity? Could the pyramid have been constructed using methods that we are just now beginning to rediscover? Some researchers believe that the energy of the Great Pyramid could have been harnessed for purposes far beyond simple construction. One fascinating theory suggests that the Great Pyramid was not just a tomb or a temple, it may have been a massive energy generator. The pyramid's precise dimensions, alignment, and internal structure could have been designed to harness the Earth's natural energy fields, converting them into usable power. Some theorists believe that the pyramid may have been designed to function as an electromagnetic device, generating energy through its unique design and positioning. This would explain the precision of the pyramid's construction and the apparent absence of tools or technology to achieve such feats. While there is little direct evidence to support this theory, it is hard to ignore the possibilities. The precision with which the pyramid was built, the advanced techniques used in its construction, and the mysterious functions of its internal chambers all point to the idea that the pyramid could have had a purpose beyond what we have traditionally believed. Perhaps the pyramid was not simply a tomb for a pharaoh, but a monument to a lost civilization's incredible knowledge of energy, architecture, and the cosmos. As we look at the Great Pyramid and other ancient monuments around the world, we are confronted with the undeniable fact that there is much we still do not understand about the ancient world. The idea of a lost civilization with advanced technologies may seem improbable to some, but the evidence is mounting. From the precision of the Great Pyramid to the global network of megalithic sites, there is a pattern that suggests a shared knowledge. A knowledge that was passed down through the ages, surviving in fragments but never fully realized. The mysteries of the Great Pyramid, the Sphinx, and the other ancient monuments around the world continue to challenge our understanding of history. Could these wonders be the remnants of a lost civilization? A civilization that possessed technologies and knowledge far beyond what we have imagined? Or are they the products of an ancient culture that used tools and techniques now lost to time? The answers may still be out there, waiting to be uncovered. And as we continue to explore the ancient world, we may one day unlock the secrets of the past. As we have journeyed through the mysteries of the Great Pyramid, we have uncovered layers of complexity that challenge everything we thought we knew about ancient Egypt and its most iconic monument. From the unexplained precision of its construction to the mysterious chambers and hidden voids still awaiting discovery, the Great Pyramid is far more than just a tomb for a pharaoh. It is a puzzle, a symbol of a past that is both ancient and, in many ways, still beyond our comprehension.
For centuries, we have been taught that the Great Pyramid was built by Pharaoh Kufu around 2550 BC, and that it served as his tomb.
This was the story passed down through the ages, the story we all grew up with. But as we have explored, it becomes increasingly clear that there are significant gaps in this narrative. Gaps demand to be filled with more than just assumptions and educated guesses. The absence of Khufu's inscriptions, the lack of his remains, and the inexplicable precision with which the pyramid was constructed all point to the possibility that the story we have been told might not be the whole truth. Could it be that the Great Pyramid was built by a civilization far older than the Egyptians? A civilization with knowledge and technology that surpasses what we typically associate with the ancient world. The theory of a lost civilization, one with advanced technologies that have since been forgotten, provides a compelling framework for understanding the mysteries of the pyramid. Whether it was built as a temple, a power generator, or a tomb, the pyramid's true purpose remains elusive, locked away behind sealed chambers and hidden doors. The evidence we have uncovered suggests that the Great Pyramid's builders may have had access to knowledge we still do not understand.
From the precision with which the stones were cut and placed, to the advanced engineering required to transport massive stone blocks, the methods used to construct the pyramid are far beyond what
we traditionally attribute to ancient Egyptians. Could it be that the ancient Egyptians inherited this knowledge from a much older civilization, a civilization that was capable of feats we can only dream of today? In the end,
the Great Pyramid stands as a mystery, a testament to human ambition, ingenuity, and the pursuit of knowledge.
It is a symbol of what we have achieved and what we have yet to understand.
Each discovery we make brings us closer to the truth,
but it also raises more questions. What was the true purpose of the Great Pyramid? Who were the builders? And what did they know? What was lost in the sands of time, and what could we learn if we dared to look deeper? The answers are out there, hidden beneath the sands of Egypt, locked behind sealed doors and unexplored chambers, waiting for those brave enough to seek them out. As we continue to push the boundaries of our understanding, new technologies and new theories will unlock the secrets of the past. But in order to truly uncover the truth, we must be willing to ask the difficult questions,
challenge the established narratives,
and consider the possibility that history is far more complex than we ever imagined.
For centuries, the world has stood in awe of the Great Pyramid.
And for centuries, we have believed we knew the story behind it. But as we have seen, the truth may be far stranger and far older than we have been led to believe. Whether it is the legacy of a lost civilization, the rediscovery of forgotten technologies, or the realization that the past is far more intricate than we can comprehend, the mystery of the Great Pyramid is far from over.
The Great Pyramid of Giza is more than just a monument.
It is a symbol of humanity's endless quest for knowledge. As we continue to study it, we come to realize that we are not just uncovering the
history of one of the world's greatest civilizations, but the history of humanity itself. The pyramid stands as a reminder that there is still much to learn and much to discover.
And perhaps, one day, we will finally uncover the secrets hidden within its stone walls. Until that day comes,
the Great Pyramid will continue to stand as a beacon of mystery and wonder, a challenge to our understanding of the past, and an invitation to explore the unknown.
And as we continue on this journey of discovery, we may just find that the answers we seek were always there, hidden in plain sight.
Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the Great Pyramid's mysteries. If you have been fascinated by these secrets, be sure to subscribe and follow us for more deep dives into history's greatest puzzles. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and never stop seeking the truth.